In this country, we had a struggle of freedom. I was part and parcel of that. My parents were part and parcel of that. They were rich people, quite rich, I should say, from every standard. You'll be amazed, my father burnt all his suits. They were stitched in England. My mother burnt all her saris. They used to spin their own clothes and wear them. I had only one coat throughout my education. When I was in Lahore, which is terribly cold, sometimes can be like London. But we never grudged and never grumbled and never said that our father should have looked after us and done something. Why did he just sacrifice everything for the country? Never, never, never. That quality was created, I should say, by Mahatma Gandhi. He made everybody so transformed into a new personality. All the money that we had, everything that we had, all conveniences, all housing, everything was given up. Not only by my father, but so many of them. Otherwise, we could not have got our freedom. To get our freedom, this country has sacrificed so much. I must say Gandhiji had a special charm. I don't know how he managed. He was like touch of Midas, touched anybody, he became transformed. And he was an extremely strict man, very kind to me, to children, but he was an extremely strict man. He would not tolerate any nonsense at all. Throughout, if you study the way all these people were brought up, not only for freedom of or independence, but even before that, for spiritual life, anywhere, there's one thing very common, is sacrifice. And the consciousness that you are doing something right. Consciousness that you are part and parcel of the whole. I've seen it with my own eyes, such people in this country, whom you may call legendary, but I've seen it. Thousands of people were killed and butchered, children died, nobody shed tears, nobody shed tears. Now, after that, we are here to get our freedom, to get the freedom for our spirit, to make our spirit free from our greed, lust, from your anger, from our conditionings, from our terrible ego.
If England does not grant your demands, what course of action will you follow then?
Of course, civil disobedience and all other phases of the Tyaga are always at our disposal, but whether we shall resort to this weapon immediately, or what other steps we shall take, I cannot judge at present.
If England grants your demands, Mr. Gandhi, do you intend to have complete prohibition in the new Indian state?
Oh, yes.
absolute prohibition.
Absolute.
And do you intend also, if India wins its independence, to abolish child marriages?
I should very much like to, even before.
Do you expect England this time will give India full self-government?
That also is more than I can say.
But you are hopeful.
I am an optimist.
You are an optimist. If you go to the second round table conference, will you go attired in native Indian dress, or will you prefer European dress?
I shall certainly not be found in European dress. And if the weather permitted, I should present myself exactly as I am today.
Yes. And if the King of England invited you to dinner at Buckingham Palace, you would go in your customary Indian dress?
In any other dress, I should be most discourteous to him, because I should be artificial.
If England does not grant your demand, are you prepared to return to jail again?
I am always prepared to return to jail.
Would you be prepared to die in the cause of India's independence?
It is a bad question.
My father was a brilliant man. He was leader of the people who were fighting the British. Very learned man. He went to jail many a times. Last time when he went after 1942 movement, it was for 3 years regularly he was in jail. But there was one fellow who was a friend of my father. He came and told my mother that you must apologize because we don't want your husband to be in jail. He has so many children and this and that. My mother said, I can't do that. His will. He wants to go to jail. He has to go. Like that, you see, we have glimpses of very ideal type of people during that time. They didn't think of money, their properties, nothing. So sacrifice was immense. Nowadays we can't even think of such a thing. But I did feel that the English should leave our country. They have no right to be there. So I did feel that somebody has to tell them that this is wrong. So I had a great sense of right and wrong. But I didn't know it was spirituality. It was an innate quality in me. But most of the people in those days were like that in India, because the urge of freedom was so great and that people were fighting for freedom. So they could not think of all those things. Once I had to speak when I was 7 years of age for Mahatma Gandhi's fasting, and I spoke to thousands of people. I was a little girl, and I told them how we should forget about caste system and how we should marry each other. I was such a little girl at 7 years.
Now I find we have another kind of slavery, a slavery of selfishness, self-oriented. This is my comfort, I must have this, it should be enjoyable, I'm enjoying, I'm this, I'm that. So rise now. You must rise above your petty, small mind.
At a stage when Moses came on this earth, when the desperation was different, that they wanted to get out of slavery, it was a different style of understanding they had. How to organize a society on a particular pattern so you achieve the maximum amount of efficiency out of that society. And it was an emergency. It was a very touch and go position for the Jews at that time. It has happened in many countries, in many generations, that they reached a state where they felt extremely desperate. The slavery of man was very apparent at that time. But before that, people didn't feel bad about the slavery. They had accepted it. They had taken it for granted. And then a time came when they felt this is slavery and we are not going to have any more of it. And a leader came. That leader worked it out for them. Today in these modern times, we have a very subtle type of slavery which is every day eating us, which is so self-destroying that we are not even aware of it and we get destroyed. This destruction is working in so many ways that if we do not really awaken ourselves to the truth, there is a possibility that nothing will be left out of this creation. There are people who give big lectures. I have met many big people from United Nations and from all these big agencies. They talk about the coming destruction, the future shock, and it's going to happen. They book big books, they discuss, they sit on the streets, they'll discuss, they are in a pub, they are discussing, they are in a party, they are discussing. But they do not realize what it means. This destruction is a kind of a destruction that has never taken before. Because this destruction is going to come from within and not from without. We have reached a certain depth in our awareness, and if we do not touch the source of our sustenance, this destruction is going to work out. Now for many people it is, oh forget it, we'll see about it. Some people are of this opinion, alright, forget it, what, destruction, alright, doesn't matter. We'll see it tomorrow. And some of them I have seen are sitting down waiting, oh God, thank God there's destruction, so this all is finished. We don't have to bother our heads, thank God there is destruction promised. Whatever attitude one may take, one has to realize that these are very serious things. The creation has reached its maximum growth now. The growth is expressed as human beings. These human beings are the actors on the stage. Whole nature is working out this new happening. Now only one thing has to happen to you is that you have to get connected with the divine. You have to get connected with the whole. You have to know your own meaning and you have to know your purpose. If this can happen to you, then you are in the other world. You are made for this. You are made a human being with a purpose. We must think, all the scientists must ask once at least this question, why? Why are we made human beings? From animal stage, why have we come to this stage? What is the reason? This question is working in the unconscious of every seeker today. That's how we have so many seekers all over the world. And these seekers are just trying to find out why are we here. Some of them find an answer sometimes in some material well-being. Say our strikes nowadays, railways. But it's very narrow view of the whole thing. Very narrow view. You want to have more pay, all right, have it. Then what? Those who talk of communism, I've been to Moscow, I'm again going back. I mean, if you ask them, they said, oh, we haven't got joy. Yeah. I'm not against communism or against democracy. Both things are just jokes to me. You are neither communistic nor democratic. Only after realization you can become both simultaneously. Because you have no powers to be capitalistic or democratic, you have no power to vote. You don't know anything about yourself. What are you voting for? You can't see. Unless and until there is light, unless and until we can see, how are we going to vote for? For example, we vote a person for what? Oh, he's a very nice man, alright. What is nice about him? How do you know he's a nice man? How do you know he will not be a bad man? Can you say that today the one who looks like a nice, very nice person will not emit scorpions or snakes all around him? A person who apparently looks a beautiful personality may turn out to be a horrid person. There is no absolute way of judging anyone, so how are we to vote anyone? If you think that you know how to judge, then I think you have to still learn. Because till you make lots of mistakes, you will not admit that I don't know. That's the point. Once you reach that state of saying, I don't know, I say this is a nice man, but I can't say, I'm not sure about this person. That's the point where you reach. When you are unsure about it, that you want to know surely if something is really truthful and honest. Our sense of honesty and everything is so superficial. It's so superficial. For us, honesty means if you give me 5 pounds, I return 5 pounds to his darn, finished, dishonest. Everything is so superficial. That's why we can never be satisfied even if you get 10% more pay or 20% more pay. You are not going to be happy. Take it from. Material things do not give us happiness. Never. But I do not say that we do not need material things. We need material things. But matter is something like a cup which has the nectar in it. If you are thirsty, you cannot take it from an empty cup. Anything. It may be a cup of gold. What does it make difference to you? You must have something to quench your thirst. And that thirst, unless and until it is quenched, you are not going to be happy. And what is that thirst? Is this, that still you have not known yourself. It's a very unconscious thirst. It comes, you don't know what you are seeking. You don't know why you are unhappy. You don't know what you want. That is the unconscious which is working it out. But the time has come that you should know what you are and what is your glory, what is your greatness, what are your powers. They are all built within yourself.